History Circle. On today's webinar, a very hot and important topic, that is the audit and assessment under GST. On this subject, our very respected brother, very young and energetic CA Sachin Jain ji with us. I welcome you, Sachin bhai. And to briefly introduce him, CA Sachin Jain is a practicing chartered accountant and a partner of Messrs. Jay Kumar Jain and Company, a prominent CA firm based in Rajasthan. He is a dynamic and innovative chartered accountant with extensive experience in the fields of indirect taxation, auditing, commercial law, and more. Additionally, he holds the roles of an advocate and company secretary also. Sachin Bhai has successfully trained over 20,000 professionals across India and has a notable portfolio of articles covering topics like GST, concurrent audits, MCA compliances, and more. Notably, he is the author of the book 71 Important Decisions under GST and the Simplified GST Guide. This is the brief profile of our young and very energetic speaker, CA Sachin Bhai. I once again welcome you. I also welcome Hemant Pavaji and all the attendee on behalf of our study circle. With this, sir, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, for the introduction and for this important opportunity. So let's first I share my presentation. Presentation is visible and
Yes,
I'm
visible,
also
sir.
audible. Okay.
Yes.
So today we'll start a very important topic, discussion on a very important topic, that is GST audit and assessment. We all know the importance of this particular subject, this particular topic. So the mode of communication of this session in Hindi and English both. And if you have any question at the end, we have Q&A session. But in between, if you have any question, you may put the same in Q&A so that our session will be interactive. And one more important thing, if possible for you, then just keep one pen and paper with you so that if there will be any important point, so that you can prepare the notes of that. Sir, audit and assessment बहुत सुनते हैं, जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट कई सारे नोटिसेस भी इशू कर रहा है ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ दैट ऑडिट एंड असेसमेंट ओनली. सो द फर्स्ट we'll just understand the term audit and assessment and what is the difference between audit and assessment. Okay, in next 1.5 hours we'll discuss the basics of the audit and assessment, and we'll also discuss certain advanced level, certain technical part of the audit and assessment. Okay, we'll cover theoretical portion as well as basic practical aspect related to audit and assessment. So what is the difference between audit and assessment? Audit, when I'm filing my GSTR 3B return, when I'm filing my GSTR 1 return, at the time when department is going to scrutinize that particular return, that means जब departmental authority उस return को check करेगा, that particular point will be called as audit. That means when someone is going to check the accuracy of the return filed by us, that event will be called as audit. But in case of assessment, assessment is just a judgment. Sir, महीने में जब मैं अपना GSTR 1 फाइल करता हूं, GSTR 3B फाइल करता हूं, एट दैट टाइम आई एम डिक्लेयरिंग my sales, I am declaring my purchase, I am declaring my liability on account of reverse charge mechanism. That means at that time I am assessing my liability, that this amount on which I need to pay the tax. Okay, so self assessment, assessment can be self and assessment can be done by others. So ऑडिट इज बेसिकली ऑलवेज डन बाय अदर्स. जब हम लोग भी इनकम टैक्स की ऑडिट करते हैं, किसी और के बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स होते हैं और हम उसकी ऑडिट करते हैं. सेम डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी जब ऑडिट करता है, हमारे बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स की ऑडिट करता है, दैट मींस ऑडिट इज ऑलवेज डन बाय अदर्स बट असेसमेंट कैन बी डन बाय हिमसेल्फ. ऑडिट इज द सेकेंड स्टेप. पहले मैंने असेस की मेरी लायबिलिटी को, आई हैव डिसाइडेड दिस इज माय सेल्स, दिस इज माय परचेज, देन डिपार्टमेंट इज गोइंग टू audit that particular data. So assessment is the first step and the audit is the second step. Now एक क्वेश्चन रेज होता है इन जीएसटी, कितने तरह के ऑडिट और असेसमेंट होते हैं? पहला, when I am going to file my GSTR 3B return over GSTN common portal or whatever type of return, चाहे मैं GSTR 5 फाइल कर रहा हूं, GSTR 6 फाइल कर रहा हूं, मैं CMP 0 फाइल कर रहा हूं, 08 फाइल कर रहा हूं, at that time I am just declaring my liabilities, I am just declaring my purchase, just declaring my sales on my own. So that type of assessment will be called as self-assessment. Second situation, there may be chances that I am not able to decide the rate or the value of a particular supply. कोई ऐसी सप्लाई, कोई ऐसी स्पेसिफिक सप्लाई ड्यूरिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर पीरियड मैंने कर दी, फॉर दैट आई एम नॉट एबल टू डिसाइड द रेट एंड वैल्यू. In that case, I have one opportunity. I can apply to the GSTN department through the GSTN common portal for the provisional assessment. Okay. At that time, departmental authority will provisionally determine the value of that particular supply or rate of that particular supply, and after a specific time period, they will provide the final assessment. So that type of assessment will be called as provisional assessment. Third situation, I have taken the GST registration, but I am not filing my return regularly. मैं अपने return regularly file नहीं कर रहा हूँ, whether it is a regular returns or whether it is a final return. Then departmental authority have one power. Departmental authority can assess my liability based on the data available with the departmental authority. जो भी उसके पास में external sources से data पड़ा है, उसके basis पे वो मेरी liability decide कर सकता है, और that type of assessment will be called as assessment of non-return filers. Fourth situation, I have no any GST number, but as per the view of GST department or GSTN authority, based on the data available with the departmental authority, उनका ये view है कि सचिन नीड्स टू टेक द जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन, बट उसने जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं लिए, ऑल्दो हिज टर्नओवर इज क्रॉसिंग द स्पेसिफाइड लिमिट फॉर टेकिंग द जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन. In that case, departmental authority may do the assessment on the basis of the data available with the departmental authority, and that type of assessment will be called as assessment of unregistered person. इन सारे assessment के बारे में हम लोग deep में discuss करेंगे. What is the process? What is the timeline? All the things will cover. I'm just going to brief you the basics about these type of assessment. Next, I have GST number. I am filing my regular return. बट डिपार्टमेंट के दिमाग में एक बात आ गई कि यार सचिन को जिस अमाउंट पे लाइबिलिटी पे करनी चाहिए ना, उस अमाउंट पे पे नहीं कर रहा है. सपोज फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 23-24, Sachin has declared a turnover of 40 lakh rupees, but as per the data available with us, the turnover of Sachin Jain should be 60 lakh rupees. और अगर यहाँ पर हम सचिन का असेसमेंट नहीं करते हैं, in that case there will be chances of loss of revenue to the government. The word is most important, that is loss of revenue. In that situation, governmental authority, departmental authority may go for the assessment, and that type of assessment will be called as summary assessment. So there are total 5 type of assessments are there. One is self-assessment, second is provisional assessment, third one is my assessment of non-return filers, fourth one is assessment of unregistered person, and fifth one is my summary assessment. Okay, so these are the types of assessment which is there in GST law. Now, assessment हो गया. Now, what type of audits is there in GST? GST के लिए डिपार्टमेंट हमें कितने तरह के नोटिस इश्यू कर सकता है? मैं रिप्लाई कब तैयार कर पाऊंगा, या फिर मैं कब अपने आप को सेल्फ एफिशिएंट बना पाऊंगा, जब मुझे इन बेसिक्स के बारे में पता होगा कि यार नोटिस कितने तरह के होते हैं, असेसमेंट कितने तरह के होते हैं, ऑडिट कितने तरह की होती है. सो देयर आर टोटल 2 टाइप्स ऑफ ऑडिट. वन इज डन बाय द डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी, that is under section number 65 of the CGST Act. Or there may be situation that due to the complexity of transaction, due to the nature of the business, departmental authority is not able to decide the case. In that case, departmental authority can go for the special audit, and special audit can be done by the chartered accountant or by the cost accountant. Types of assessment, and one more important topic जिसमें हम लोग बात करेंगे, that is my scrutiny of returns. Now, first we'll discuss about the self assessment under section number 59 of the CGST Act. सेल्फ असेसमेंट में कौन कौन सी बातें कवर होती है, या फिर सेल्फ असेसमेंट कब कहा जाएगा कि इस सिचुएशन में सेल्फ असेसमेंट हुआ है. दिस इज द स्पेशल सिचुएशन इन दैट taxpayer has done the self-assessment. So we have specific section number 39. All the returns you are filing in section number 39, that particular type of return filing will be called as your self-assessment. Now, what type of returns will be covered in this specific section number 39? So just take my example, then we'll read the language of law as well. जब मैं मेरा GSTR3B रिटर्न फाइल करता हूं, आई एम अ रेगुलर टैक्सेबल पर्सन और आई एम फाइलिंग माय GSTR3B रिटर्न, दैट विल बी कॉल्ड एज माय self assessment. Suppose I have taken the QRMP scheme, that is quarterly return monthly payment. So in that specific situation, I am filing my GSTR3B return on quarterly basis. So जब मैं मेरा quarterly return file करूंगा GSTR3B, that situation will be called as my self assessment. Suppose I have opted one specific scheme, that is composition scheme. And in that specific scheme, as per section number 10 of the CGST Act, that is composition scheme, I need to pay the taxes at a concessional rate, and I will not be eligible to claim any input tax credit. In that situation, when I will file my CMP 08, that situation will be called my self assessment. जब मैं रेगुलर हूं तो GSTR3B फाइलिंग, जब मैं कॉम्पोजिशन ऑप्ट कर रखा है, एट दैट टाइम माय CMP 08 फाइलिंग विल बी ट्रीटेड एज माय सेल्फ असेसमेंट. इफ आई एम इनपुट सर्विस डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, तो जब मैं अपना इनपुट सर्विस डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर से रिलेटेड रिटर्न जो है GSTN पोर्टल पे फाइल करूंगा, दैट सिचुएशन विल बी कॉल्ड एज माय सेल्फ असेसमेंट. इफ आई एम अ नॉन रेजिडेंट taxable person, NRTP, in that situation when I will file my return, that situation will be called as my self assessment. If I am a TDS deductor and the contract value is more than 2.5 lakh rupees, in that specific situation when I will file my return over GST and common portal regarding the TDS deduction, that time will be called as my self assessment. Okay, so these are the types of returns, और जब मैं रिटर्न को फाइल करता हूं, at that time I am doing my self assessment. Okay, so what is the section? Just read it. Section number 39 subsection 1 says that when you will file your GSTR3B return, that situation will be called as your self assessment. Or when you will file the quarterly return, then your quarterly return will be treated as your self assessment. And if your turnover is up to 5 crore rupees, in that case you are eligible to opt for the QRMP scheme. Next, कॉम्पोजिशन टैक्सेबल पर्सन, सेक्शन नंबर 10. ये सब कुछ हम लोगों ने ब्रीफली डिस्कस कर लिया है. मैं जस्ट सेक्शन से एक बार रीड करके आपको बता रहा हूं कि वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड दिस एस्पेक्ट. ओके, व्हेन आई एम फाइलिंग माय return under composition scheme, that is my CMP 08, that situation will be called as my self assessment. In case of TDS deduction, subsection number 3, 10th of the succeeding month I have to file my return, or when I will file my TDS deduction related return over GST and common portal, in that case the term will be called that I am doing the self assessment. Now सर एक चीज और डिस्कस कर लेते हैं कि मुझे TDS डिडक्शन करना कब होता है. When I am a governmental authority, governmental entity, governmental agency, और जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैल्यू है वो 2.5 लाख रुपए से ज्यादा है, in that case that agency will going to deduct the TDS at the rate of specified under GST, whether 1-2%. Okay, that is what is subsection number 3 of section number 39. Then subsection number 4 is specifically related to input service distributor. Okay, input service distributor means I have a head office in Rajasthan and I have various branches, suppose in Gujarat, in Maharashtra, in Tamil Nadu. And when I am going to, that means when head office is going to buy a certain product and that product is distributed to various branches, in that case with the distribution of the products there is requirement to distribute the input tax credit as well. इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट ऐसे ही तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं हो जाएगी. फॉर दैट पर्पस दैट हेड ऑफिस हैज टू फाइल वन स्पेसिफिक रिटर्न दैट इज फॉर इनपुट सर्विस डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, और जब वो इनपुट वो ट्रांसफर कर रहा है दूसरी ब्रांचेस को, एट दैट टाइम दैट हेड ऑफिस इज गोइंग टू डू द असेसमेंट एंड दैट असेसमेंट विल बी कॉल्ड एज सेल्फ असेसमेंट. जब एक नॉन रेजिडेंट टैक्सेबल पर्सन अपना मंथली रिटर्न फाइल करता है और अपना लास्ट रिटर्न फाइल करता है, बिकॉज वी ऑल नो दैट नॉन रेजिडेंट टैक्सेबल पर्सन इज टेकिंग द रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर अ स्पेसिफाइड टाइम पीरियड. ओके, सो जब वो अपना रेगुलर रिटर्न फाइल करता है और जब वो अपना लास्ट रिटर्न फाइल करता है, दैट सिचुएशन विल बी कॉल्ड एज सेल्फ असेसमेंट. बाद में डिपार्टमेंट उसका केस स्क्रूटनी में ले सकती है, ऑडिट में ले सकती है और उसके बेसिस पे डिसीजन दे सकती है, बट दीज आर द सिनेरियो इन विच वी आर डूइंग द सेल्फ असेसमेंट. देन हम लोग बोलते हैं साहब आज जीएसटी पोर्टल पे डेट एक्सटेंड हो गई. ओके कभी रिटर्न की डेट एक्सटेंड होती है, वी आर सेइंग दैट डेट इज एक्सटेंडेड ओवर द जीएसटी एंड कॉमन पोर्टल, बट द पावर इज अंडर द हैंड ऑफ कमिश्नर टू एक्सटेंड द डेट, और वो पावर आता है सेक्शन नंबर 39 सबसेक्शन 6 के थ्रू। बिकॉज कई बार हम लोगों को रिप्लाई राइट करना होता है, कई बार हम लोगों को अपील ड्राफ्ट करनी होती है। द बेसिक प्रॉब्लम इज दैट हम लोग नॉर्मल लैंग्वेज यूज कर लेते हैं, वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू टेक द रेफरेंस ऑफ वेरियस सेक्शंस व्हिच इज स्पेसिफाइड अंडर जीएसटी। Okay, so this is my humble submission to you that whenever you will prepare a particular reply, just take the reference of relevant sections. In case of quarterly return filing, तो section number 39 subsection 7 says, जो हम लोग करते हैं ना सेट ऑफ जीएसटीआर 3B में, मेरा आउटपुट इतना है, मेरा इनपुट इतना है, आई एम गोइंग टू एडजस्ट माय आउटपुट विथ इनपुट एंड देन आफ्टर आई एम पेइंग द कैश, ओके, थ्रू माय इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर. So this complete mechanism is governed through the section number 39 subsection 7. As per section number 39 subsection 7 says that sir, whenever you will file your GST return, at that time first you need to adjust your input tax credit and then after you have to make the payment in cash. So this mechanism is also through section number 39 subsection 7. If there will be no any supply, in that case also we need to file the return. ये भी हमको पता है, बिकॉज जीएसटी एंड कॉमन पोर्टल पे अगर मैंने पिछले महीने का रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया, इफ आई हैव नॉट फाइल द रिटर्न फॉर द लास्ट पीरियड, इन दैट केस आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू फाइल द सब्सिक्वेंट पीरियड रिटर्न. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट वो मेंशन कहां पर है, तो सेक्शन नंबर 39 सबसेक्शन 8 सेज दैट सर, if there will be no any supply, in that case also you need to file the return, nil return. Okay, or for amendment of the return, I have section number 39 subsection 9 says that sir, if you have any amendment, you may put the amendment in the subsequent period. Okay, but for specific input tax credit we have a section that is section 16 subsection 4. लेकिन अगर मैं जब भी कॉमन सेंस में बात करता हूं, इन दैट केस सेक्शन नंबर 39 सबसेक्शन 9 ने हमको अमेंडमेंट का पावर दिया है. सेक्शन नंबर 39 सबसेक्शन 10 सेज, जब तक आपका प्रीवियस पीरियड का रिटर्न फाइल नहीं हुआ होगा तब तक यू विल नॉट बी एलिजिबल टू फाइल द नेक्स्ट पीरियड रिटर्न. So this is my complete self assessment when I am going to file my GSTR 3B return, CMP 8 return, quarterly return, monthly return, related to input service distributor, related to TDS TCS deduction. In all those situations I am doing the self assessment, I am declaring the liability. Now second turn, departmental authority may assess or departmental authority may go for the audit. So this self assessment is completed. Now second type of assessment, that is my provisional assessment. Okay, first we'll understand this specific situation through example and then we'll read the language of law so that it will be very convenient for us. So the provisional assessment, sir, suppose in a particular specific month I am not able to decide the value of a particular supply. I am not able to decide the value of a particular supply. ओके, सो अगर मैं उसकी वैल्यू करेक्टली डिटरमाइन नहीं कर पा रहा हूं और अगर मैंने गलत डिटरमाइन कर ली, इन दैट केस डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी में कम अप विद द ऑडिट एंड स्क्रूटनी एंड वेरियस नोटिसेस, पेनल्टी, इंटरेस्ट, ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर देयर. ओके, सो आई हैव वन ऑप्शन, आई कैन गो फॉर द प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट. मैं डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी को ही जाकर के बोल दूं कि सर आई एम नॉट एबल टू डिसाइड द वैल्यू इन दिस स्पेसिफिक केस, कैन यू प्लीज डिसाइड द वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई. ओके, सो in that specific situation I need to file an application to the departmental authority, or I may use the word that is proper officer. अब वो proper officer कौन होगा, we'll discuss. Okay, so for provisional assessment I need to file the application over GST and common portal. Okay, when you will log into the GST and common portal under user services, under my application, you just need to go for the provisional assessment. Okay, you need to apply for the provisional assessment with the relevant documents that sir, ये मेरी वैल्यू का नेचर है, ये मेरी सप्लाई का नेचर है, एंड इन दिस स्पेसिफिक सिचुएशन आई एम नॉट एबल टू डिसाइड द वैल्यू. सो डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी क्या करेगा, बेस्ड ऑन द फैक्ट, बेस्ड ऑन द डॉक्यूमेंट सबमिटेड बाय द टैक्स पेयर, डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी विल डू द प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट. वो एक प्रोविजनल वैल्यू निकाल करके दे देगा कि साहब दिस इज द वैल्यू ऑन विच यू नीड टू मेक द पेमेंट ऑफ द टैक्सेस. ओके, so departmental authority will basically provide you the value on which you need to make the payment of the taxes, but this is a provisional value, this is not a final value. Okay, so now डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी ने मुझे प्रोविजनल वैल्यू निकाल करके दे दी. Time period is within 90 days from the date of application. Departmental authority has to provide the provisional assessment. Now, suppose just take one example. साहब डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी ने मेरा प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट किया एट 1 लाख रुपीज. ओके, एंड at the time of final assessment, suppose the valuation will be 1,50,000 rupees. So there will be an additional liability of 50,000 rupees at the time of final assessment. बट यहाँ पर डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी को एक छोटा सा डर है कि यार कहीं एट द टाइम ऑफ फाइनल असेसमेंट पे उसने पैसा नहीं दिया तो, टैक्स पेयर ने पैसा नहीं दिया तो. So for that purpose, departmental authority will says that whenever we'll do the provisional assessment, at the same time you need to provide one bond in the form of security. We should not be less than 25% of the टैक्स जो आप डिपॉजिट कर रहे हो उसका 25% तक का आपको एक बॉन्ड उसमें सिक्योरिटी होनी चाहिए. यू नीड टू प्रोवाइड, देन विल डू द प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट. ओके, प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट हो गया, टैक्स पेयर हैज पेड द अमाउंट एंड फाइल द रिटर्न. नाउ एक ना एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी हैज टू डू द फाइनल असेसमेंट. ओके, सो now, departmental authority will issue the notice for the final assessment that, sir, in this specific case, we have done the provisional assessment. Now, this is the situation. In that case, we need to put the final assessment. So, please provide us certain documents. Okay. So, after submitting the specific documents, departmental authority will do the final assessment. And based on the decision of the final assessment, if there will be amount refundable or there may be amount payable. Okay. Suppose earlier decided the liability as 1 lakh rupees, but now they decided 1,50,000 rupees. In that case, 50,000 payable. Okay. Second scenario, they decided the provisional assessment as 1 lakh rupees, but the final assessment is at 80,000 rupees. In that case, refundable amount is 20,000 rupees. Okay. So whatever will be the scenario, departmental authority will pay or take the amount, and after that particular adjustment, you need to file one application. किसके लिए? For release of the security which you have submitted at the time of provisional assessment, and after submitting that application for release of securities, within 7 working days, departmental authority will release the bank guarantee. So this is the complete process of your provisional assessment order. Sir, basics clear hai kya? You may put in chat box. Okay, you are free to raise the question in the chat box, or if the concept is clear for you, you may put the same in chat box. So this is my provisional assessment. Now timeline क्या होगी, proper officer कौन होगा, we'll discuss the same through the language of law. So I am not going to read the each and every word of the provision of the section. I am just going to discuss the crux of that particular section. Okay, section number 60, but this language is completely from the law. When the taxpayer is unable to determine the value of goods and service and rate of tax applicable, in that case they may go for the provisional assessment, and departmental authority will pass the order of provisional assessment not later than 90 days from the date of the receipt of such request. Okay, and that person has to execute one bond and with such security as may be determined by the proper officer, and after that proper officer, after submission of the security, within a period of 6 months, that proper officer has to pass the final assessment order. But now there may be situation कि मुझे extension की requirement हो. So for that purpose, joint commissioner and additional commissioner has power to provide an extended time period of further 6 months. Okay, but commissioner has also power to extend the period for 4 years. Okay, so the proper officer has to pass the order within 6 months. Additional commissioner, joint commissioner has power to extend further 6 months, or commissioner has power to extend for further 4 years. Now, at the time of final assessment, whatever will be the scenario, that is tax payable or tax refundable, they will pass the order and you need to deposit the tax. Now, one question is there, sir, what will be the rate of GST? So in case of refund, or I may say पूरे जीएसटी लॉ में जब रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट की बात आती है ना, तो केवल there are only three rates are prescribed under GST for interest applicability. Okay, 24% को एक बार भूल जाना. I am just going to discuss about the normal scenario. Okay, so one is 18%. Whenever, जब भी गवर्नमेंट को कोई इंटरेस्ट लेना होगा, at that time the rate of interest will be 18%. When government wants to pay any interest, at that time the rate will be 6%. Okay, but whenever any amount payable to the taxpayer due to any judgment, due to any decree, due to any court decision, in that case the rate of interest will be 9%. So the same situation will be applicable in case of provisional assessment, when departmental authority will do the final assessment, and if there will be any amount refundable to the taxpayer, the rate of interest will be 6%. But if there will be amount payable to the governmental authority, in that case the applicable rate of interest will be 18%. Now, मेरे पास में सेक्शन हम लोगों ने डिस्कस कर ली, सेक्शन नंबर 16. नाउ वी हैव रूल. वन क्वेश्चन इज दैट व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेक्शन एंड रूल. एक क्वेश्चन है मेरे दिमाग में कि भैया रूल और सेक्शन में क्या डिफरेंस होता है. सो सेक्शन हमको बताएगा यू नीड टू डू दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्क, आपको ये फॉलो करना है, आपको ये वाला काम करना है. बट हाउ वी कैन डू दैट पर्टिकुलर वर्क, व्हाट विल बी द प्रोसेस. सो द प्रोसेस विल ऑलवेज suggested by the rules. Okay, so section will tell you that what to do, but rule will tell you that how to do. So now provisional assessment के लिए rule number 98 of CGST rules talks about the mechanism to application for the provisional assessment. So first we need to file the GST ASMT 01 to the GST and common portal with the relevant documents. Then after, departmental authority will provide you one notice, will issue you one notice in form GST ASMT 02, and if they require any additional documents, in that case you need to provide the reply with the additional documents in form GST ASMT 03, and departmental authority will pass an order in form GST ASMT 04, but you need to provide the bank guarantee in the form of bond, and that should be in form number GST ASMT 05. ये हो गया मेरा provisional assessment complete. Then after, departmental authority will issue you one notice, that means the proper officer will need to issue you one notice, that is GST ASMT 06, and that is related to your final assessment. And then after, they will pass the order in form GST ASMT 07, and you need to file an application to the departmental authority, to the proper officer, in form GST ASMT 08 for release of the bank guarantee and the security. And within 7 working days from your application, the proper officer will release the security and pass the order in form GST ASMT 09. अब इतनी देर से दिमाग में क्वेश्चन घूम रहा था, सर हु विल बी द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर. सो द डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर एंड द असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर विल बी द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर इन केस ऑफ प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट. फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ असेसमेंट वाज माय सेल्फ असेसमेंट, सेक्शन नंबर 59 of CGST Act. Second type of assessment is my provisional assessment, section number 60 of the CGST Act. Now, section number 61, that is scrutiny of returns. Okay, we'll discuss on that. And this is a very hot topic nowadays, because governmental authorities, departmental authorities issuing these particular type of notices, that is ASMT 10 for scrutiny of returns. Okay, कई सारे लोगों को आ रहा है, मुझे लग रहा है 70 to 80% लोगों को, टैक्स पेयर्स को नोटिस इशू हो रखे हैं. और जो सबसे बड़ी बात है, these notices are reflected on your GST and common portal, but no any mail is shared with you regarding this specific notice. Also one important point, गवर्नमेंट ने एक बेल आइकन दिया है on the particular GST and common portal कि हम कोई भी नोटिस इश्यू करेंगे, when we'll issue a particular notice, will give you the information in that particular bell icon. But अभी तक उस बेल आइकन में कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं अवेलेबल होती है. Okay, but in case of scrutiny of returns, if the taxpayer will not going to provide the reply within 30 working days, in that case departmental authority may pass the order or initiate the proceeding under section number 73-74. So this is a very much specific situation related to scrutiny of returns. Okay, but first we need to understand the scrutiny of returns. इसके बारे में कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट हम लोग समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. Sir, scrutiny of returns under section number 61 of the CGST Act. First of all, scrutiny of return का notice whenever departmental authority will going to issue, that departmental authority has the limited power. Okay. एक important point है, जीएसटी ऑफिसर्स कई बार नोटिस इश्यू करते हैं रिलेटेड टू वेरियस इश्यूज, ओके, और वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड द रिप्लाई. कई बार हम लोगों को अपने राइट्स को भी देखने हैं कि यार मेरा राइट क्या है. स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न जब भी वो देगा या फिर जब भी वो रिटर्न्स की स्क्रूटनी करेगा, एट दैट टाइम नोटिस में जितने पैरा उसने रेस किए हैं, दैट पर्सन हैज पावर टू आस्क द क्वेश्चन ओनली ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ दैट पैरा. उसके बियॉन्ड जाकर के वो हमसे कोई भी क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ सकता है. दिस इज नॉट अ बिजनेस ऑडिट, दिस इज नॉट अ डिपार्टमेंटल ऑडिट, दिस इज जस्ट अ स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न्स. सो द टैक्स अथॉरिटी हैव अ लिमिटेड पावर, सो वी आल्सो नीड टू नो अवर राइट. So in this specific situation, in case of scrutiny of returns, that person have a very limited power. That means जो भी उसने पैरा रेस किए हैं, that person have power to ask the question on account of that para only. And in case of scrutiny of return, they will ask the question normally on 3 to 4 accounts. There may be chances that difference between GSTR 3B and GSTR 1, GSTR 2B and GSTR 3B. There may be reason for the RCM related applicability. There may be chances related to late fees and penalty. Okay, these are the probable reason for which departmental authority is going to issue you the scrutiny related notices, section number 61. But the point is that departmental authority will pass the order in form, the notice in form ASMT 10. Okay, we need to provide our reply in GST ASMT 11. And if departmental authority will satisfy or not satisfy, they will pass the order in form GST ASMT 12. Okay, so this is the complete mechanism of scrutiny of returns. Notice will be issued in ASMT 10. We need to provide the reply in ASMT 11. Departmental authority will pass the order in ASMT 12. Okay, now notice आया मेरे पास में, नोटिस के बाद मैं रिप्लाई दे रहा हूं. आई हैव फाइल्ड माय रिप्लाई, and if departmental authority will satisfied with that reply, in that case they will pass the order regarding drop the proceedings. Okay, but I have filed the reply and departmental authority not satisfied. In that case they may initiate the proceeding under section number 7374. 7374 में क्या proceedings होती है, we'll discuss on that as well. Okay, but the point is that notice reply provide किया, satisfied, drop the proceeding. Reply provide किया, not satisfied, they will initiate the proceeding under section number 7374. But suppose we have not checked that particular notice and we have not filed the reply, in that case departmental authority may pass the decision on the basis of the data available with them, and they will initiate the proceeding under section number 7374. So be careful whenever there will be a specific situation. In that case, notice is issued under section number 61, we need to provide the reply within a specified time. Okay, now the proper officer may scrutinize the return and related particular furnished by the registered person to verify the correctness of the return and inform him the discrepancies. That means to check the correctness of the return, departmental authority will take the case for the scrutiny. Okay, and they will demand your explanation. If your explanation will found acceptable, in that case order of drop the proceedings. If they will not satisfied with the explanation, in that case they will initiate the proceeding under section number 73, 74, or they may take the case for the audit, that is departmental audit. They may take the case for the special audit. They may go for under section number 67, that is search and seizure. So हम लोग सोचते हैं यार स्क्रूटनी का नोटिस ही तो है, क्या कर लेगा, 3B और 2B के डिफरेंस से रिलेटेड ही तो है, क्या कर लेगा. ओके, बट द पॉइंट इज दैट we just need to keep this particular fact in our mind, that they have power to initiate the proceeding under 5 sections, section number 65, 66, 67, 73, 74. Okay, we'll discuss on all these sections as well. Now rule number 99 आ गया, and this specific rule will guide you about the process. That means they will issue the notice in form GST ASMT 10. Okay, you need to provide your reply in ASMT 11 and they will pass the order in GST ASMT 12. This is the complete mechanism. This is the complete process of the scrutiny of returns. Now, third situation. You will also receive this particular PDF file. Okay. We have also provided the chart in this PDF file for better understanding. Now, section number 62, assessment of non-return filers. At the beginning of the session, we have covered this specific point in brief related to non-return filers. I have taken the GST registration, but I have not filed my GST return. In that case, departmental authority will do the assessment based on the data available with the departmental authority, and that assessment will be called as assessment of non-return filers. But after passing the assessment order, they will provide you one opportunity of being heard. Okay, they will provide me a time, and in that specified timeline, if I will provide the satisfied to the departmental authority, if I will provide the satisfactory reply to the departmental authority, then they may drop the proceedings. Okay, so this is my section number 62, that is assessment of non-return filers, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in section number 73 and 74. Registered person fails to furnish the return under section number 39, that means my self assessment wale return, GSTR 3B, GSTR 6, GSTR 7, GSTR 8, whatever type of returns, if I failed to file or the final return, in that case, departmental authority may issue a notice and do the assessment based on the data available with the departmental authority. Now, कब तक departmental authority ये assessment कर सकती है? What will be the timeline? Suppose for financial year 2022-23 के लिए I have not filed my returns. Okay, now the due date to file the annual return for this financial year will be 31st December 2023. The due date to file the annual return for this specific financial year will be 31st December 2023. And from this due date, departmental authority have 5 years. That means 31st December 2028 तक departmental authority can initiate the proceeding under section number 62 of CGST Act, that is assessment of non-return filers if I have not filed the return. So timeline भी मुझे पता होनी चाहिए कि कब तक कोई एक्टिविटी यहां पर हो सकती है. You have a timeline of 30 days from that particular order, or if taxpayer will provide the satisfactory reply to the departmental authority, then they may withdraw the order. So this is my assessment of non-return filers. अगर मैंने return file नहीं किया, in that case, what will be the ground? There are one more important scenario, one more example I just want to take. In case कई बार क्या होता है, मैंने जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल करवा दिया. आई हैव फाइल्ड एप्लीकेशन फॉर कैंसिलेशन ऑफ जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन एंड डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी हैज आल्सो पास द ऑर्डर फॉर कैंसिलेशन ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन. ओके, बट आई फॉरगॉट टू फाइल द फाइनल रिटर्न. Now, departmental authority will impose a penalty of 10,000 rupees. The maximum penalty is 10,000 rupees in this specific situation. So we need to be very much careful that whenever we'll file an application for cancellation of GST registration, and after that cancellation order, we just need to confirm that we need to file that final return GSTR 10. Okay. So this is the most important thing. Deadlines ऐसी होती है, we just need to paste that deadlines in our office as well, so that we can remember that particular timelines. Now, assessment of unregistered person. Sir, Sachin Jain, I have not taken the GST registration, although as per the data available with the departmental authority, I need to take the registration. एक क्वेश्चन, एक प्रश्न मन में उठ रहा होगा कि साहब, हाउ डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी कैन गेट द डेटा, कि भैया इसका टर्नओवर इतना होना चाहिए, इसकी सेल्स इतनी होनी चाहिए. हाउ डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी कैन गेट द डेटा? So for that purpose, they have certain external information. वो काउंटर पार्टी के रिटर्न्स भी तो चेक करती है. जहां से मुझे कोई प्रोफेशनल इनकम आ रही है, वो वहां के रिटर्न्स भी तो चेक कर रही है. They have power to check that particular. They are also doing the income tax audit of that particular person. उसमें भी उसने कोई एक्सपेंडिचर दिया, लिस्ट में मेरा नाम मिल गया, that we have provided a professional fees to Sachin Jain for 50 lakh rupees. क्लियर कट इंडिकेशन फॉर द डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी कि इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में सचिन जैन को अगर 50 लाख रुपीस की प्रोफेशनल फीस मिली है, बट द सचिन जैन हैज नॉट टेकन द जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन, दैट मींस कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. इनिशिएट द प्रोसीडिंग। और जब वो उसमें स्टार्ट करते हैं, उसमें डीप एनालिसिस करते हैं, तो वहां पर खूब सारी चीजें निकल करके सामने आने के चांसेस होते हैं। सो द ओनली वे टू फाइंड आउट दीज पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स इज द एक्सटर्नल इंफॉर्मेशन। नाउ assessment of unregistered person will be covered under section number 63 of the CGST Act. And if that person has not taken the GST registration or registration has been cancelled, but वो अपना business कर रहा है, that person is carrying the business, but the GST registration has already been cancelled, in that case departmental authority may pass the judgment on the basis of information available with the departmental authority, and the timeline is same 5 years. ओके जो टाइमलाइन हम लोग सेक्शन नंबर 62 में डिस्कस की थी, द सेम टाइमलाइन विल बी एप्लीकेबल इन केस ऑफ सेक्शन नंबर 63 ऑफ द CGST एक्ट, दैट इज 5 years from the due date of filing of annual return for the respective financial year. Suppose financial year is 22-23, then the due date to file the annual return will be 31st December 2023, and the timeline for initiate the proceeding or pass the order is my 31st December 2028. Okay, so the date is for passing the order, for concluding the proceedings. Okay, and also they will provide one opportunity of being heard. After that particular opportunity, they can pass the order. I suppose section number 59 related to self-assessment, section number 60 related to my provisional assessment, section number 61 related to my scrutiny of returns, section number 62 is my related to assessment of non-return filers, section number 63 assessment of unregistered person. These all sections are okay for everyone, I suppose. Okay. Now, section number 64, summary assessment. Sir, I have GST registration, I am filing my regular returns, but फिर भी उस टैक्स ऑफिसर को कुछ ना कुछ दिमाग में चल रहा है कि यार सचिन ने जो लाइबिलिटी डिक्लेयर किया, दिस इज नॉट अ करेक्ट लाइबिलिटी. His turnover is more than the liability which he has declared in the GST returns. So we need to go for the audit, we need to go for the assessment, and that type of assessment will be called as summary assessment. Or in this particular situation, that person has to take the permission from the additional commissioner or joint commissioner. Okay, assistant commissioner and deputy commissioner can go for the summary assessment, but for doing that summary assessment, they first need to take permission from the additional commissioner and joint commissioner. Okay, so whenever you will receive a particular notice on account of summary assessment under section number 64, just keep one specific thing in your mind. We need to check, सर उसमें उन्होंने प्रीवियस परमिशन एडिशनल कमिश्नर और जॉइंट कमिश्नर की अटैच की है या फिर नहीं की है. वट एवर टाइप ऑफ नोटिस दे विल इश्यू टू यू, at the bottom of that particular notice they will provide you one specific line that we have already taken the permission from the additional commissioner and joint commissioner. Without that permission they cannot initiate the proceeding under section number 64 regarding this summary assessment. So this is also one important right of us. Okay, और वो असेसमेंट कब हो सकता है, जब उनके पास में ऐसी कोई इंफॉर्मेशन है कि अगर ये असेसमेंट नहीं किया गया, इन दैट केस देयर मे बी लॉस ऑफ रेवेन्यू टू द गवर्नमेंट. इन दैट केस दे मे गो फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ असेसमेंट. एंड after that assessment they will provide a timeline of 30 days, that within 30 days if you provide any satisfactory reply, or you may file an application to the additional commissioner or joint commissioner के साथ जो ये order आपके असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर या फिर डिप्टी कमिश्नर साहब ने पास किया है, यहां पर कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है, कुछ ना कुछ मिस्टेक है. एंड द ट्रू फैक्ट इज as follows, and if you have submitted the additional documents to the additional commissioner, to the joint commissioner, in that case that order can be withdrawn. So the same provision applicable in case of section number 62, 63, 64, assessment of unregistered person, assessment of non-return filers, assessment of summary, that is summary assessment. Okay, they will provide you the order. If you will not satisfied with that, then you have a timeline. You just need to provide your counter reply, and based on your reply, if departmental authority will satisfy, in that case they will pass the order, they will withdraw the order. Okay, whatever will be the situation, that will be completely based on your explanation. Now rule number 100, सर अपन ने रूल नंबर 98 डिस्कस किया था. related to provisional assessment. Rule number 99 discuss किया था related to scrutiny of returns. Now we have rule number 100 and this rule is specifically related to my assessment of non-return filers, assessment of unregistered person and summary assessment. Okay, these three types of assessment का process will covered under this specific rule, that is rule number 100 of CGST rule. Let's start our discussion on this specific rule. So departmental authority will issue the notice in form GST ASMT 13. Okay, I can say the order of assessment will be issued in GST ASMT 13 and the complete summary will be uploaded in form DRC 07. एक और important बात हमें पता होनी चाहिए, whenever departmental authority will pass a specific order, in that situation with that order they will always issue the summary, or whenever they will issue a particular notice, in that situation also they will issue one summary. So summary is the most important part. जब वो notice issue करेंगे, at that time they will provide you the summary in form DRC 01. Okay, but then whenever they will issue the order, in that case they will issue the summary in form DRC 07. So order is issued in ASMT 13. ASMT 1 से लगा करके ASMT 9 related to my provisional assessment. ASMT 10, 11, 12 is related to my scrutiny of returns, and ASMT 13 is related to my assessment in certain special cases, that is non-return filers. Now, in case of assessment of unregistered person, they will issue the notice in form GST ASMT 14 and they will issue one summary in form DRC 01 and they will provide you a timeline of 15 days. You need to provide the reply within 15 days. In case of assessment of non-return filers, timeline is 30 days. In case of summary assessment, timeline is 30 days. But in case of assessment of unregistered person, timeline is 15 days to provide the reply to the departmental authority. So the timeline is 15 days in case of unregistered person ka assessment, and they will issue the notice in form DRC 01. Also, after your reply, they will provide the order in form GST ASMT 15 with the summary DRC 07. One concept you should take care in your mind, that whenever departmental authority will pass any order, the summary will be there in form DRC 07. Okay. And one more important point is that, sir, नोटिस उसने जिस बेसिस पे इश्यू किया है, जिन ग्राउंड्स पे इश्यू किया है, द समरी शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर ग्राउंड्स ओनली. कहीं ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए नोटिस में वो ग्राउंड्स काम में ले रहा है, डिफरेंस बिटवीन 3B and 1 and that person is also including the liability in summary for difference between GSTR 3B and 2B. Okay, so the summary should be completely reconciled with the order. So this is my assessment of unregistered person. In case of assessment of non-return filers, GST ASMT 13. In case of assessment of unregistered person, GST ASMT 14. First notice with summary DRC 01, 15 days timeline. After that, order will be passed related to the favor or against. Next, in case of summary assessment, they will provide you the notice in form GST ASMT 16. I can say they will provide you the order, and DRC 07 mein they will provide you the summary, but you have power to file an application to the additional commissioner or joint commissioner for the withdrawal of that particular assessment, and that should be in form ASMT 17. And whatever will be the order of that particular person, they will pass the order in form GST ASMT 18. सो हम लोगों ने जीएसटी एएसएमटी 1 से स्टार्ट किया था सफर और जीएसटी एएसएमटी 18 तक पहुंचे हैं, और इन 18 फॉर्म्स, एप्लीकेशन और ऑर्डर के अंदर कवर होता है स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न्स, प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट, समरी असेसमेंट, असेसमेंट ऑफ अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, असेसमेंट ऑफ नॉन रिटर्न फाइलर्स. ओके, नाउ these 5 types of assessments are there. First one was my related to self assessment, second provisional assessment, third one related to my assessment of unregistered person, assessment of non-return filers, and fifth my summary assessment. Now audit. Total 2 types of audit are there. One is my business audit and another is my Special audit. Special audit will always be done by a special person, that is chartered accountant or post management account. Business audit will always be done by departmental authority. In that business audit wala part, we'll discuss with you certain practical aspects as well. Okay. Now, in case of business audit, commissioner will authorize the officer to conduct that particular audit. Okay, so the power to authorize is in hand of that commissioner. Okay, first I am just going to share with you the crux of this business audit, then we'll understand the same from the language of law. So the commissioner has power to authorize the officer for the conduct of the business audit. Now there is requirement of minimum 15 days notice. They cannot initiate the audit without giving a timeline of 15 days. Okay, कई बार क्या होता है, departmental authority will issue the notice for 7 days, for 5 days, for 10 days. We just need to say that, sir, as per section number 65, there is requirement that you need to provide us a minimum timeline of 15 days. Okay, and that person has to conclude the audit in 3 months from the date of the commencement of the audits. Okay, sir, just keep one thing in the mind. This is the most important line. That is my commencement of audit. इन्होंने लिखा section number 65 में that audit should be completed or audit must be completed within 3 months from the date of the commencement of the audit. Okay, commencement of the audit. Just keep this word in your mind. और उन्होंने नीचे commencement of audit की एक definition भी provide करवा दी, और वो definition ऐसी provide करवाई जिससे ये साफ लग रहा है, वो डेफिनेशन ऐसी प्रोवाइड करवाई जिससे ये साफ लग रहा है कि साहब कंप्लीट कमेंसमेंट ऑफ ऑडिट की डेट और कब उसको कंक्लूड करना है, दिस विल बी इन हैंड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी ओनली. ओके, उन्होंने कमेंसमेंट की डेट में लिखा डेट ऑफ सबमिशन ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट, डेट ऑफ सबमिशन ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स इन ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स, date of submission of documents in all aspects, or actual institution of audit at the place of business, actual institution of audit, whichever is later. अब इस लाइन से कंप्लीटली क्लियर है कि साहब उन्होंने लिखा कमेंसमेंट ऑफ ऑडिट तब मानी जाएगी जब सारे के सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स कंप्लीट एस्पेक्ट में रिसीव हो जाएं, और एक्चुअल इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ ऑडिट व्हिचएवर इज लेटर. अब डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी ने कह दिया कि साहब ये वाला डॉक्यूमेंट रह गया था, ये वाला डॉक्यूमेंट मुझे नहीं मिला, ये वाला डॉक्यूमेंट बाद में मिला. सो द डेट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स वो पुट करेंगे, उस डेट के अकॉर्डिंग आपकी डेट के 3 मंथ्स कैलकुलेट होंगे. So I suppose you all get that particular fact, that how they decide the timeline and how they decided the definition of commencement of the audit. So as per section number 65 subsection 2, this is completely in hand of the departmental authority. They may conduct the audit from the place of business or in their office itself. There is requirement to give 15 working days notice, minimum 15 working days notice. They need to complete the audit within 3 months from the date of commencement of the audit. If commissioner will satisfy, then they may provide an extended timeline not exceeding 6 months. Okay, now commencement of audit, sir, definition padna commencement of audit ki shall mean the date on which the records or other documents called for by the tax authorities are made available by the registered person or actual institution at the place of business, whichever is later. That means both these dates are completely in hand of the departmental authority. So now the timeline of 3 months and 6 months will completely in hand of the departmental authority only. During the course of the audit, authorized officer जो भी documents मांगे we need to provide. मैंने आपको बोला था सर, in case of scrutiny of returns the scope is very limited because those are the para which is there in that particular notice. We need to provide the reply for that para only. But in case of business audit, they may demand any document for that particular financial year, and also they have power to ask any document related to previous financial year, जिससे वो केवल क्लोजिंग बैलेंस को कंफर्म कर सके. ओके, ऐसा नहीं कि सारे के सारे लेजर वो मांग सकता है, बट इफ दैट पर्सन वांट्स टू कंफर्म द ओपनिंग बैलेंस ऑफ द करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर विद द क्लोजिंग बैलेंस ऑफ प्रीवियस फाइनेंशियल ईयर, they have right to ask that particular document. Okay, now on conclusion of the audit, they will provide you the complete findings. Okay, and based on your interaction with the departmental authority, based on the data finding, they will pass the order and initiate the proceeding under section number 73, 74 if there will be any less payment of output tax, excess claim of input tax credit, wrongly availed or utilization, or claim of refund under GST. In that case, they may initiate the proceeding under section number 73 and 74 of CGST Act. That is what is my departmental audit. They will issue the notice in form ADT 01. Now, कुछ टेक्निकल टर्म्स है बिजनेस ऑडिट से रिलेटेड, कुछ प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट्स हैं. I suppose you all know these particular type of facts, but I am just going to share with you कुछ practical aspects. Okay, whenever you will submit a particular document to the departmental authority regarding the business audit, take the acknowledgement of the same. If you will submit the same over GST and common portal, then this is completely okay. But if you will submit any single document to the departmental authority, then take the acknowledgement. Because जब तक सब कुछ सही है हमारे बीच में, everything is fine. But कुछ भी गड़बड़ होता है, in that case, at the time of litigation, they may deny from your submission. Okay, I'm just share with you. So we just need to take the acknowledgement of each and every document which we have submitted. If you will go for the personal hearing, in that case, we also need to take the acknowledgement, or we may sign on the data sheet. Now, departmental authority has issued the notice in form ADT 01. What are the documents I need to submit at the first time? In that particular ADT 01, they will provide you one specific list. Okay, but मेरे पास भी एक लिस्ट है. If you will provide that particular list to the departmental authority, your audit will be concluded in a very smooth way. Because कई बार क्या होता है, हमारे दिमाग में एक मानसिकता है, एक थ्योरी सेट है कि जितने हम लोग कम डॉक्यूमेंट प्रोवाइड करवाएंगे, ऑडिट उतना इजीली कंक्लूड हो जाएगी, वो कुछ फाइंड नहीं कर पाएंगे. Okay, but my concern is that as per my view, your first impression will be the last impression. Okay, if you will submit the smooth document with the departmental authority at the first time, उसके दिमाग में एक सेट हो जाएगा कि भाई ये बंदा है ना, इसके पास में कुछ तो नॉलेज है related to aspects. So what are the documents which we need to carry at the first time of the audit? So first, your audited financial statement. Your annual GSTR 9 and 9C return. Also, if there will be any difference, prepare the reconciliation in a sheet and provide. Okay, because बाद में वो पूछेगा, इससे अच्छा will submit these document at the time of our submission. So financial statement we need to provide, GSTR 9 and 9C related to complete reconciliation. Also, we need to provide the complete income ledger, because वो बाद में भी मांगेगा. And through that income ledger, वो करने क्या वाला है, I am also going to share with you. Through that income ledger, that person will check that all the income which is booked in the profit and loss account, that person has paid the GST or not. Suppose there is a specific income in the profit and loss account, that is interest income. That person will issue one notice related to interest income as well. So at the time of submission of your first documents, you just need to clarify that in this interest income, this amount is my financial interest, so GST will not be applicable, and this amount is my trade interest, and I have already paid the GST on that particular interest income. तो उसे क्या लगेगा, सारे के सारे रिकंसिलिएशन मेरे को रेडिली अवेलेबल हो गए हैं. Then expenditure ledger, that person will demand the expenditure ledger from RCM applicability perspective and from reversal of input tax credit perspective. There are two perspective. One is RCM applicability. That person will check that this is the expenditure which is booked in the profit and loss account. The taxpayer has paid the reverse charge mechanism on that expenditure or not. Or दिस इज माई एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन विच इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट इज नॉट अलाउड इट, सो उस पर्सन को खाली ये चेक करना है कि इस इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट पे उसने इनपुट का रिवर्सल किया है या फिर नहीं किया है ऑन दिस स्पेसिफिक लेजर. ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड द क्रेडिटर्स एज, so that person will check, the authority will check, the authority can check the applicability of section number 16 subsection 2 का प्रोवाइजो कि साहब उसने अपने सप्लायर को विद इन 180 डेज पेमेंट किया है और नहीं किया है. यू जस्ट नीड टू प्रोवाइड द क्रेडिटर्स लिस्ट एज वाइज. ऑल्सो कीप रेडी द परचेज रजिस्टर, द सेल्स रजिस्टर एंड योर reconciliation. What type of reconciliation is required? Reconciliation between GSTR 1 and 3B, reconciliation between GSTR 2B and 3B, and RCM reconciliation. These three type of reconciliations are required. Okay. Prima facie at your first visit during for that specific business audit, departmental audit, this is the document list you need to provide to the departmental authority. And if you will provide this document list with complete reconciliation, वो आपकी पहले visit पे समझ जाएगा कि साहब कुछ लाइजनिंग करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. All the documents are in a perfect way and your audit will be conducted in a very smooth way. Okay. So this is my section number 65 of CGST Act, that is related to business audit, departmental audit. Okay. I will also share with you two example related to business audit और उसके ऊपर departmental authority अभी बहुत सारी डिमांड रेज कर रहा है. Okay. Difference between GSTR 3B and 2B. Suppose one specific scenario, one specific situation is there. April month, April 2022 and May 2022. This is the situation. Okay. One specific input tax credit which is available in my GSTR 2B in May month amounting to 5 lakh rupees under IGST head. But invoice is with the date of April. That means invoice is of 25th of April, but the same is reflected in May month. Okay, but I have received the invoice, I have received the goods. Okay, or everything is there. अब मैंने क्या किया? I have claimed this input tax credit in May month. और मुझे ये पता भी है कि साहब जब तक GSTR 2B में इनपुट रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं होती है, आई विल नॉट बी एलिजिबल टू क्लेम दैट इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. ऑल्दो आई हैव क्लेम दैट इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. अगले महीने मैंने क्या कहा? जब ये इनपुट मेरे मई मंथ के अंदर अवेलेबल हो जाएगी, एट दैट टाइम आई विल पे इंटरेस्ट ऑफ 18% for month. Okay. And I have already made a payment of interest at the rate of 18% in May month के साथ. ये इनपुट मेरे मई में अवेलेबल हुई in GSTR 2B में, but I have claimed in April month, so I had made a payment of 18% in my GSTR 3B return of May month. Okay. If possible, then provide the reply in the chat box that this treatment is correct or not. I am expecting reply in Q&A session that this treatment is correct or not. Suppose this is the scenario. After 2 years, departmental authority has take my case for the audit. Okay, departmental authority ने मेरा case business audit के लिए ले लिया, और in that specific business audit, departmental authority ने check किया difference, और departmental authority ने बोला, Mr. Sachin, you have claimed input tax credit in April 2022 month, but the same was reflected in May 2022 month, so you have claimed wrong input tax credit. मैंने बोला yes sir, I have claimed wrong input tax credit, but the same was reflected in May month, so I have already made the payment of interest at the rate of 18%. मैंने तो खुश होकर डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी को बताया कि साहब मैंने 18% का इंटरेस्ट भी भर दिया. Departmental authority says no, Mr. Sachin, April month when you have claimed this specific input tax credit, you were not eligible to claim that input tax credit. Okay, so now you need to first reverse this input tax credit. सेकंड, मैंने फिर बोला कि सर जो मई मंथ में मेरे 2B में रिफ्लेक्ट हुई थी, आई हैव नॉट क्लेम द सेम, कैन आई क्लेम द सेम? उन्होंने बोला नो, बिकॉज द टाइमलाइन ऑफ सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 4 ऑफ CGST एक्ट टू क्लेम द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट हैज ऑलरेडी बीन एक्सपायर्ड, सो यू विल नॉट बी एलिजिबल टू क्लेम द इनपुट क्रेडिट रिलेटेड टू मई मंथ. So there is a due loss. I need to reverse the input tax credit and I also not be available or eligible to claim the input tax credit. So the correct treatment is that whenever you have claimed any excess input tax credit with comparison to GST are to be first reverse, then claim, and then there will be a question of interest. पहले क्लेम करके रिवर्स तो कर भाई, फिर हम इंटरेस्ट की बात करेंगे. दैट इज व्हाट इज द कंटेंशन ऑफ डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी, बिकॉज एज पर सेक्शन नंबर 16 सबसेक्शन 2 ऑफ CGST एक्ट, दिस इज आल्सो अ मैंडेटरी कंडीशन दैट विदाउट रिफ्लेक्टिंग द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट इन GSTR टू बी टैक्सपेयर कैन नॉट क्लेम द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. और जब आप एलिजिबल ही नहीं हो तब आप क्लेम कर रहे हो, दैट मींस यू हैव क्लेम द रॉन्ग इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. So this is the specific situation on which departmental authority raising multiple issues, raising multiple demands. So we need to be very much careful, because 2 साल बाद में जब स्क्रूटनी या फिर ऑडिट आती है, हमारे क्लाइंट हमसे पूछता है कि सर रिटर्न आप रेगुलर भाई फाइल कर रहे थे, हमारे इनकम टैक्स की ऑडिट भी आप ही कर रहे थे, हमारे GSTR 9 और 9C भी आप ही फाइल कर रहे थे, उसके बाद ये डिमांड क्यों? Okay, so this is a question on us. So we just need to keep these particular type of things in our mind while filing the returns. Now, or as a chartered accountant, as a professional, this is not our work, or this is not our duty to file the return. We have a lot of areas in GST. Litigation is one of the best area. One more area, that is GST implementation in industries, because अगर मैं किसी को प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई भी इंप्लीमेंट करता हूं किसी इंडस्ट्री के अंदर, दिस इज ऑल्सो वेरी बिग टास्क. ओके, टू फाइल द रिटर्न कोई भी कर लेगा यार, आर्टिकल भी कर लेगा. Our duty is to do certain things which is in nature of advisory. Now, special audit can be done by a chartered accountant or cost management accountant. साहब असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर को ऐसा लगता है कि in this specific situation we are not able to determine the liability, we are not able to determine the facts of the case due to complexity of the transaction, due to nature of the business. So we need to transfer the case, or we need to assign this particular audit to the chartered accountant or cost management accountant, and they need to first take the permission from the commissioner. So for this special audit, the power will be in hand of assistant commissioner. Assistant commissioner will take the approval from the commissioner. Okay, and by the nominated chartered accountant or the cost management accountant. They need to submit their reply or report. That means chartered accountant or cost management accountant needs to provide their report within 90 days. But agar assistant commissioner chahe, then that assistant commissioner can extend that period for further 90 days. और सेक्शन नंबर 66 सबसेक्शन 3 बोलता है, आपकी कहीं पर भी ऑडिट हुई हो, इनकम टैक्स में ऑडिट हो गई हो, कंपनीज एक्ट में ऑडिट हो गई हो, फिर भी आप इस ऑडिट के लिए एप्लीकेबल हो जाएंगे अगर असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर सजेस्ट करता है तो. आफ्टर कंप्लीट ऑडिट, वन अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग ऑडिट शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड टू द टैक्स पेयर विद ऑल द फाइंडिंग एंड द वर्किंग. The expenditure of the particular examination and audit of records should be determined or paid by the commissioner, and after that particular audit, the proceeding under section number 73 and 74. Now this is my section number 66. तो अभी तक हम लोगों ने असेसमेंट वाला पार्ट पूरा किया. दैट इज माय असेसमेंट, सेल्फ असेसमेंट, प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट, अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन का असेसमेंट, असेसमेंट ऑफ नॉन रिटर्न फाइलर्स, और summary assessment. Two types of audit. One is section number 65, that is business audit, and another is section number 66, that is my special audit. जो भी हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया, हमेशा हम लोग एक लाइन एट द एंड यूज कर रहे थे कि साहब प्रोसीडिंग विल बी इनिशिएटेड, proceeding will be initiated under section number 73 or 74. Sir, what do you mean by this section number 73 or 74? Can you please explain? Okay, so let's start our discussion on this section number 73 and 74 so that our discussion will be complete from audit and assessment aspect. Okay, also we have covered two practical points related to scrutiny of returns and related to business audit. Now, जब भी प्रोसीडिंग इनिशिएट करने की बात आती है, मेरे पास में दो सेक्शंस हैं. These are the journal sections, normal sections. Okay, if there will be any special situation, special sections will be there related to search, seizure and all those things. But in journal scenario, normal situation, I have section number 73 or section number 74. चाहे वो मेरा प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट हो, सेल्फ असेसमेंट हो, समरी असेसमेंट हो, बिजनेस ऑडिट हो, स्पेशल ऑडिट हो, डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी विल इनिशिएट द प्रोसीडिंग अंडर सेक्शन नंबर 73 and 74. Now, if there will be any excess claim of input tax credit, less payment of output tax, भाई ऑडिट होगी, असेसमेंट होगा, तो निकलेगा क्या कि सचिन ने आउटपुट कम पे किया, सचिन ने इनपुट एक्सेस क्लेम कर ली, और आरसीएम की एप्लीकेबिलिटी थी पर आरसीएम पे टैक्स पे नहीं किया. ओके, देयर मे बी चांसेस दैट वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई करेक्टली one specific scenario I just want to discuss with you. Fraud, whenever there will be a specific fraud, that excess availment of input tax credit, that is less payment of output tax, and the wrong payment of reverse charge mechanism due to any fraud, due to any willful misstatement, due to any suppression of fact, in that case the proceeding will be initiated under section number 73. But whenever there will be a situation that there is a excess payment of less payment of output tax, excess claim of input tax credit, and RCM related issues, but this is not due to fraud, not due to willful misstatement, not due to suppression of fact, in that case the same will be covered under section number 73. Okay, मैं इसको normal scenario बोल देता हूँ. सर, एक छोटी सी चीज मुझे आपके साथ डिस्कस करनी है, दैट इज माय इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. ओके, हम सब लोग बोलते हैं इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट इज द हार्ट ऑफ जीएसटी. ओके, व्हाई, क्यों है हार्ट जीएसटी का? बिकॉज द पॉइंट इज दैट जब मुझे इनपुट क्लेम करनी है तो पहले मुझे चेक करना है कि यार एज पर सेक्शन नंबर 16 सबसेक्शन 1 एलिजिबिलिटी आ रही है या फिर नहीं आ रही है. Then after I need to go through with the section number 16 subsection 2, that means various conditions fulfill हुई है या फिर नहीं हुई है. Then after I need to check that I have made the payment to the supplier within 180 days or not. Then after I need to check that the input is, whether this input is blocked under section 75 or not, 17.5 or not. Then after I need to check, sir, then after I need to check that the reversal as per rule number 42, 43 has already been done or not. Then after I need to check that the same is reflected in GSTR to be written or not. So there are lots of filters are there. और जब इतने सारे फिल्टर्स होंगे तब कहीं ना कहीं पर लिटिगेशन होने की, गलतियां होने की चांसेस ज्यादा रहेगी. Hence this input tax credit is the heart of GST. And departmental authority is also focusing on this specific aspect. But sir, आने वाले दिनों में there are a lot of issues are also there in GST जिनके ऊपर हमने सोचा ही नहीं है. टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, आईजीएसटी की जगह सी और एस जीएसटी पे कर दिया, सी जीएसटी और एस जीएसटी की जगह आईजीएसटी पे कर दिया, ड्यू टू रॉन्ग डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. इन दैट केस द implication will be very much used. Value of supply, if you have determined the wrong value, in that case various penalties, various interest will be applicable in case of business audit, in case of departmental audit, in case of litigation. ओके, कई बार नॉर्मल सिचुएशन नहीं होती है, स्पेशल सिचुएशन होती है, और फॉर दैट स्पेसिफिक सिचुएशन वी नीड टू डिटरमाइन द वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई एज पर द वेरियस वैल्यूएशन रूल्स, रूल नंबर 27 टू रूल नंबर 31. बट हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उसकी वैल्यूएशन एज पर सेक्शन नंबर 15 सबसेक्शन 2 ही कर देते हैं कि साहब बायर एंड सप्लाई इज नॉट द रिलेटेड पार्टी एंड प्राइस इज द सोल कंसीडरेशन. दिस इज आल्सो अ बिगेस्ट इश्यू. इससे आज हमारा वो टॉपिक नहीं है, बट ऑडिट एंड असेसमेंट है, तो आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू ब्रीफ यू दैट these are also the factors which plays a very important role in GST from litigation perspective. Your definition of supply, your schedule number 1, 2 and 3, हर टॉपिक, हर पॉइंट which is very much important from litigation perspective. खाली जीएसटीआर 3B और 1 को रिकंसाइल कर लिया, 2B और 3B को रिकंसाइल कर लिया, दिस इज नॉट द कंप्लीशन ऑफ माय कंप्लायंसेस. ओके, सो लेट्स कम टू अवर टॉपिक, दैट इज section number 63, 73 and 74. 73 will be applicable in case of no fraud, no willful misstatement and no suppression of facts. अब क्या होता है, यहां पर भी एक लड़ाई है. Departmental authority always try that your case should be covered under section number 73, 74, so that penalty will be used. Okay, and as a taxpayer, as a professional, we always try that our case should be considered under section number 73 only, so that penalty should be very less. Okay, so whenever you will fight for that particular aspect, you just need to keep certain things in your mind. Whenever you will prepare a particular reply, in that particular reply clearly mention that the this particular case should be covered under section number 73 and provide the particular genuine reasons कि साहब यहाँ पर कोई फ्रॉड नहीं है, यहाँ पर कोई मिस स्टेटमेंट नहीं है, यहाँ पर कोई फेक इनवॉइसिंग नहीं हुई है। ओके, वरना क्या होगा, डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी उसको 74 में डाल देगा अगर हम उसके ग्राउंड पे कंटेंशन नहीं करते हैं। और एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज, जो भी रिप्लाई मैं मेरे एससीएन के बेसिस पे दे रहा हूं, वट एवर विल बी द रिप्लाई आई एम गोइंग टू सबमिट फॉर द शो कॉज नोटिस, दैट रिप्लाई विल बी द बेस फॉर योर फर्दर लिटिगेशन। आप चाहे अपीलेंट अथॉरिटी में चले जाओ, अपीलेंट ट्रिब्यूनल में चले जाओ, हाई कोर्ट में चले जाओ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चले जाओ, द फर्स्ट रिप्लाई विच यू हैव सबमिटेड टू योर जुडिक्शनल ऑफिसर, दैट विल बी द बेस ऑफ योर कंप्लीट लिटिगेशन। ओके, नाउ सेक्शन नंबर 73 पे वापस आते हैं। और जब भी डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी सेक्शन नंबर 73 पे नोटिस इशू करेगा, एट दैट टाइम दैट अथॉरिटी विल इशू द नोटिस प्लस समरी। Okay, so section number 73 से related notice will be issued and summary will also be provided. Okay, and both should be on the same ground. ये मैंने आपको बोला, and this will be applicable in each and every scenario. This is the universal principle that if your notice is issued on one ground, in that case the summary should be on that particular ground only. After that, notice plus summary, आपके पास में एक इंटीमेशन आएगी। बेस्ड ऑन दैट इंटीमेशन, इफ यू हैव पेड द रिक्वायर्ड टैक्स, ओके, जो भी उसने डिमांड रेज की है, इफ यू विल पे द अमाउंट बेस्ड ऑन द इंटीमेशन, इन दैट केस no penalty. You just need to pay the tax and interest. There is no requirement to pay any penalty if you will pay the amount based on the intimation. But suppose आपने intimation पे payment नहीं किया, if you will make the payment after issuing the notice but within 30 days, in that case also no penalty. Okay, but if you have not made the payment within 30 days from the notice, you will provide the payment after 30 days. In that case, penalty will be 10% of tax or 10,000 rupees, whichever is higher. That is what is the penalty will be applicable. So in case of section number 73, the penalty, if you will pay the amount based on the intimation, no penalty. If you will pay the amount within 30 days from the issue of the notice, no penalty. If you will make the payment after 30 days, in that case, penal provision will be applicable, that is 10% of tax or 10,000 rupees, whichever is higher. Now, suppose sir, departmental authority has issued the notice for 1 lakh rupees and you are satisfied with the 70,000 rupees. आपको पता है यार 70,000 की डिमांड तो सही है. In that case, if you will pay the 70,000 rupees based on the intimation or based on the notice, in that case, you just need to intimate this fact to the departmental authority that, sir, we have already made a payment of 70,000 rupees. Now just dispute is for 30,000 rupees. So you just need to issue the notice for this 30,000 only. So पूरे अमाउंट का पेमेंट कर दिया, क्लोज हो जाएगा मैटर. But if you will make the payment of the partial amount, in that case, you need to intimate the same to the departmental authority so that that authority will issue the notice for the balance amount only. This is my section number 73. वैसे बहुत बड़ी है, हम लोगों ने सिंप्लीफाइड वे में समझा तो एक चार्ट के अंदर खत्म हो गई सेक्शन नंबर 73. नाउ जस्ट उसका टाइमलाइन रिमेनिंग है कि कब तक वो डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी नोटिस इश्यू कर सकती है अंडर सेक्शन नंबर 73. नाउ section number 74 will be applicable in case of fraud, in case of willful misstatement, in case of suppression of facts. Okay, in that case also departmental authority will issue the notice plus something. Both should be on the same ground based on the intimation. If you will make the payment of the taxes, in that case penalty will be 15% of tax only. Okay, now intimation पे मैंने पेमेंट नहीं किया. If the taxpayer will make the payment within 30 days from the notice, then 25% of tax, this is the quantum of penalty. अगर उस 30 दिन में भी पेमेंट नहीं किया, if taxpayer will pay the payment after 30 days from the date of notice, in that case penalty will be 50% of tax. एंड इन अदर सिनेरियो दैट मींस आप ऑर्डर के बाद में कोई पेमेंट करते हो अंडर सेक्शन नंबर 74 दैट इज फ्रॉड विलफुल मिस स्टेटमेंट सप्रेशन ऑफ फैक्ट इन दैट केस penalty will be 100% of tax. So when your case will be covered under section number 73, maximum penalty will be 10% of tax or 10,000 rupees. But your case will be covered under section number 74. In that case, maximum penalty will be 100% of tax and minimum penalty will be 25% of the tax. That is what is the impact. And we also need to fight for that only. अगर आपने कोई पार्शियल अमाउंट का पेमेंट कर दिया सो द सेम एग्जांपल विल बी एप्लीकेबल इन दिस स्पेसिफिक सिचुएशन 70,000 पे कोई नोटिस इश्यू नहीं होगा ऑन दैट 30,000 डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी विल इश्यू द नोटिस नाउ सर व्हाट इज द टाइमलाइन फॉर सेक्शन नंबर 73 एंड 74 section number 73 is my सीधी सादी section okay because no fraud no willful misstatement गलती हो गई साहब okay so in that specific situation the timeline is suppose related to financial year 22-23 related to financial year 22-23 the due date to file the annual return is 31st December 2023 इस डेट से 3 years तक that means 31st December 2026 तक डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी हैज टू कंक्लूड द प्रोसीडिंग अंडर सेक्शन नंबर 73 मैंने डेट बोली है टू कंक्लूड द प्रोसीडिंग और फॉर इश्यूइंग द नोटिस अंडर सेक्शन नंबर 73 द लास्ट डेट विल बी 30th September 2026 this will be the last date for issuing the notices now section number 74 for same financial year 2022-23 the due date to file the annual return is 31st December 2023 and section number 74 is badmas okay that is fraud willful misstatement suppression of fact so government needs more time to identify the nature of the fraud or identify the situation so there is a timeline of 5 years that means 31st December 2028 और इससे 6 month पहले तक that means 30th June 2028 will be the last date to issue the notice under section number 73 and to conclude the proceeding will be 31st December 2028 so this is the complete crux of section number 73 and 74 of the CGST Act let's read this section from the provision of law determination of tax not paid short paid input tax credit wrongly availed or refund wrongly claimed in that specific situation departmental authority will issue the notice under section number 73 and they will issue the notice they can issue the notice 3 months prior to the timeline and timeline हम लोगों ने discuss कर ली 3 year from the due date of the annual return for the relevant financial year departmental authority will measure a particular statement and a particular statement should be on the same grounds on the same grounds section number 73 subsection 4 5 अगर वो बंदा बिफोर सर्विस पर नोटिस पेमेंट कर देता है इन दैट केस नो पेनल्टी and that person has to provide the information to the departmental authority or if that person has made the short payment in that case that person needs to provide the information to the departmental authority so that departmental authority will pass the order for the balance amount only and section number 73 subsection 8 within 30 days then also no penalty but if you will make the payment after 30 days in that case penalty will be 10% of tax or 10,000 rupees whichever is higher and the timeline will be 3 years from the due date of furnishing of the annual return for the relevant financial year this is my section number 73 of the CGST Act to initiate the proceeding now section number 74 of CGST Act which will be applicable in case of fraud in case of willful misstatement in case of suppression of facts so in that case also the timeline to issue the notice is at least 6 months prior to the timeline specified in subsection number 10 and the timeline is 5 years from the due date of annual return for the relevant financial year, departmental authority will issue the grounds, the statement, and should be on the same grounds. Okay, if you will pay the amount before service of the notice, in that case penalty will be equivalent to 15% of the tax, and you need to provide this information to the departmental authority so that वो कोई भी यहाँ पर notice serve नहीं करेंगे. और अगर आपने कोई short payment किया है, in that case you have to intimate the same so that they will issue the notice for the short payment only. Okay, if you will make the payment within 30 days from the issue of the notice, in that case penalty will be 25% of the tax. Okay, now the timeline to issue the notice or conclude the proceeding will be within a period of 5 years from the due date for filing the annual return for the relevant financial year. And if you will make the payment after 30 days from the issue of the notice, in that case penalty will be 50% of the tax. Or if you will make the payment after the order, in that case penalty will be 100% of the tax. That is what is the thing which is there. Okay, so departmental authority will issue the notice, and with that notice they will issue one intimation in form DRC 01, and whenever they will issue the order, the intimation will be in form DRC 07. So notice and DRC 01, order and same will be in DRC 07. The summary will be provided in DRC 07 and both will be on the same ground. Now स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न्स के जो बेसिक रीजंस है, कुछ हमने आइडेंटिफाई किए दैट व्हाट आर द बेसिक रीजंस फॉर दिस स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न्स. सो इफ देयर विल बी एनी डिफरेंस बिटवीन योर जीएसटीआर 1 and 3B, in that case departmental authority may issue the notice. Okay, because this is completely system driven, your system will take your case for the scrutiny. So वो कब लेगा, जब उसको रिकंसिलिएशन में कुछ ना कुछ वहां पर गड़बड़ दिखती है. There will be difference between audited sales and the GST sales. Whenever you will complete your income tax audit or initiate your income tax audit, just reconcile the turnover of profit and loss account or trading account with the GSTR 3B return. This reconciliation is a must reconciliation. Difference between GSTR 3B and 2B, अभी हम लोगों ने एक एग्जांपल से समझ भी लिया कि if there will be any difference between 3B and 2B, in that case what will be the impact. And sales variation, last year sales was 2 crore, current year sales was 200 crore. If there will be any huge variations, in that case system may take your case for the scrutiny. Now कई बार नोटिस आता है ना, दिस इज द, आई विल जस्ट टेक मोर 5 to 7 minutes. ओके, सो अगर कभी भी कोई भी नोटिस आता है ना, सो फर्स्ट विल ट्राई टू प्रिपेयर द रिप्लाई. कभी हमने ये देखा ही नहीं कि यार मुझे नोटिस को ध्यान से पढ़ना है, नोटिस को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, नोटिस के रीजन को आइडेंटिफाई करना है. सो just 5 minutes will give to the techniques how we can identify the notice, how we can check that particular notice. Whenever you will receive that particular notice over GST and common portal or by post, whatever will be the mechanism, just first check the issuing authority. Okay, you just need to check the issuing authority first, that जिस issuing authority ने मुझे ये notice दिया है, that person has the power, that person is my jurisdictional officer or not. और अगर वो बंदा jurisdictional officer नहीं है, in that case that person has take the permission from my jurisdictional authority or not. That is what is the confirmation we need to take. क्योंकि पहले तो वो notice सही होगा, then after I can provide the reply. If the notice is issued by the CGST department, central authorities, in that case I also need to check the DIN number. And also I need to verify the validity of DIN number or the GSTN common portal. Okay, then after, सर ये दो टास्क करने के बाद अब मैं नोटिस पे आऊंगा कि मुझे नोटिस को पढ़ना है. Okay, then when we'll read that particular notice, I first need to identify the section, that under which section this specific notice is issued. Suppose the notice is issued under section number 16, तो मुझे आइडेंटिफाई हो गया कि साहब कुछ ना कुछ मेरी इनपुट में गड़बड़ है. Suppose the notice is issued under section number 10 of IGST Act, 11 of IGST Act, 12 of IGST Act, मुझे समझ आएगा कि साहब there is an issue with my place of supply. If the notice is issued under section number 12, 13, 14 of the time of supply, that is CGST Act, that will be related to my time of supply. So मुझे समझ आएगा कि wrong determination है time of supply का. If the notice were issued under section number 15 of the CGST Act, that is valuation, in that case मुझे ये समझ आएगा कि साहब मैंने कोई valuation गलत किया है. तो जैसे ही मुझे सेक्शन पता चलेगी ना, उसके बाद मैं उस नोटिस को आइडेंटिफाई कर पाऊंगा. वरना हम लोग क्या करते हैं, सीधा जाकर के रिकंसिलिएशन को देखते हैं, यस देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन 3B एंड 2B एंड विल स्टार्ट ड्राफ्टिंग द रिप्लाई. डोंट डू दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, बिकॉज उसने जिस सेक्शन में नोटिस किया है, इश्यू किया है, यू जस्ट नीड टू प्रोवाइड द रिप्लाई अंडर दैट पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन ओनली. ओके, सो you just need to check this section. After identification of this section, now you just need to identify the reason of that particular notice. Because आपने सेक्शन आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया ना, नाउ यू नीड टू इंटरलिंक द रीजन एज वेल. अब आपको सेक्शन और रीजन दोनों को इंटरलिंक करना पड़ेगा कि इस सेक्शन में ये नोटिस इश्यू हुआ क्यों है. आफ्टर दैट आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द रीजन, नाउ check the logical and arithmetical calculation of that particular notice. If departmental authority has issued one specific notice on account of interest and late fees, in that case, this is my humble submission to you, just very carefully check the arithmetical and logical calculation, because multiple time उन्होंने वहां पर गलत इंटरेस्ट की कैलकुलेशन मिली है. So we need to be very much careful whenever departmental authority will issue any notice on account of late fees. Just check कहीं गवर्नमेंट ने कोई सर्कुलर तो इश्यू नहीं कर दिया था फॉर रिलैक्सेशन, फॉर इंटरेस्ट के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने कोई रिलैक्सेशन रिलेटेड कोई सर्कुलर तो इश्यू नहीं कर दिया था. आफ्टर दैट कैलकुलेशन, नाउ विल स्टार्ट टू प्रिपेयर अवर रिप्लाई. मैं पूरी की पूरी ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल्स पे बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, बट इन नेक्स्ट 2 minutes आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू शेयर विथ यू द बॉडी ऑफ अवर पर्टिकुलर रिप्लाई. Whenever you will draft a particular reply, just confirm first the fact of the situation should be part of the your reply. Okay, whatever will be your reply, you just need to ensure that the facts of the situation should be part of your reply. After fact will show this section. Why under this particular section we are going to provide our reply. After that section, if there will be any case study, in that case we'll provide the case study. और कई बार क्या होता है, हमने बोला कि साहब सेक्शन और केस स्टडी, वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू कट कॉपी एंड पेस्ट द कंप्लीट मटेरियल ऑफ सेक्शन एंड कंप्लीट मटेरियल ऑफ केस स्टडी एंड विल प्रोवाइड द सेम इन आवर रिप्लाई. डोंट डू दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग. ओके, you just need to provide the relevant extract of the section, and when you will provide the relevant extract of the section, at that time you just need to provide the simplified explanation of the section as well. कई बार क्या होता है, हमने खाली सेक्शन लिख दी, हम उसका क्या इंटरप्रिटेशन कर रहे हैं वो भी तो डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी को बताना है. So for that purpose, whenever you will provide a reference of section, just provide the simplified explanation. Whenever you will provide a particular case study, just provide the crux of that case study, and the simplified explanation of that case study should be part of your reply. Then after, suppose that notice is due to any technical glitch, वहां पर कोई technical glitch था, कुछ समस्या थी, and there are a lot of screenshots are there on the Google. Okay, so if there will be any technical glitch, then just take the reference of that technical glitch as well. Okay, after taking the reference of the technical glitch, कई बार क्या होता है, कुछ कैलकुलेशंस होती है, कुछ रिकंसिलेशंस होते हैं, हम उनको क्या करते हैं, नोटिस में ही, नोटिस के रिप्लाई में ही कट कॉपी एंड पेस्ट कर देते हैं. डोंट डू दिस थिंग. If you want to submit any reconciliation related to 3B, 2B, 1 RCM, then please make that reconciliation part of your annexure, because this is the drafting में है क्या, reply तो कोई भी लिख लेगा, but the point is that how is your presentation. Okay, so your reconciliation should be part of your annexure, and if you will submit any additional document with the departmental authority, in that case also that additional document should be part of your annexure. So there are total 2 annexures should be part of your reply. Annexure number 1, any calculation, and annexure number 2, if you want to submit any additional documentation. Okay, so this is the complete body of a particular reply. If you will file a particular reply on account of the scrutiny of returns on account of assessment, that is summary assessment, provisional assessment, so आपको ये वाला reply provide करवाना है, इस फॉर्म में, इस बॉडी में प्रोवाइड करवाना है. Okay, so these are the important points. अब यहां पर कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं, एंड दीज क्वेश्चंस आर कंप्लीटली फॉर यू. जो भी हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया है उससे रिलेटेड कुछ प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चंस यहां पर बनाए हैं, एंड उन क्वेश्चंस के आंसर आपको ही तैयार करने हैं, बिकॉज दीज आर वेरी सिंप्लीफाइड, वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चंस। ओके, जो भी हम लोगों ने एनालिसिस किया है उससे रिलेटेड सेशन में हम लोगों ने स्टार्ट किया था अपना सेशन with the difference between audit and assessment. Audit is to check the accuracy of the data and assessment is to provide the judgment. Audit can be done by, audit always be done by others, but assessment can be done by himself and can be done by others. Assessment is my first step and audit is my second step. Then after हम लोगों ने बात की types of assessment. Sir, first one, when I am filing my GSTR 3B return, at that time I am doing my self assessment. Sir, I am not able to decide the value and rate of supply. In that case, I need to apply to the proper officer, that is my deputy and assistant commissioner, for the assessment, and that type of assessment will be called as my provisional assessment. Third, suppose I am not filing my GST return but I have taken the GST registration. In that case, departmental authority may do the assessment based on the base data available with the departmental authority, and that will be called as my assessment of non-return filers. There may be situation I have not taken the GST registration or department has cancelled that particular registration, but during that period I am making the supply. In that case, that assessment will be called as assessment of unregistered person. I have GST registration, I am filing my regular return, बट डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी के दिमाग में एक चीज फिक्ट है कि साहब यहाँ पर कुछ ना कुछ रेवेन्यू लॉस है, अगर हमने सचिन का असेसमेंट नहीं किया, इन दैट केस देयर मे बी चांसेस ऑफ द रेवेन्यू लॉस टू द गवर्नमेंट, देन दे मे डू द असेसमेंट एंड दैट टाइप ऑफ असेसमेंट विल बी कॉल्ड एज माय समरी असेसमेंट. स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न विल बी फॉर द रिलेवेंट पैराज, और वहां पर डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी का स्कोप हो जाता है वेरी लिमिटेड. देन वी हैव टू टाइप्स ऑफ ऑडिट. वन इज डिपार्टमेंटल ऑडिट, मिनिमम 15 days notice is required, timeline is 3 months from the date of the commencement of the audit, and the most important thing, the definition of date of commencement will be plays a very important role. जिस दिन आपने डॉक्यूमेंट सबमिट किया और द एक्चुअल इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ द ऑडिट एट द प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस, whichever is later, that will be the date of commencement of the audit, and whatever documents related to that particular financial year departmental authority will demand, we need to provide that particular documents in written, take the acknowledgement. And in case of special audit can be done by a chartered accountant or a post management accountant. Assistant commissioner will assign you with the prior permission of the commissioner that special audit. In case of a special audit, we need to submit our reply within report within 90 working days, and the proceeding will be initiated under section number 73, 74. 73 will be related to my non-fraud cases, 74 will be related to my fraud cases. In section number 73, maximum amount of penalty is 10,000 plus 10,000 or 10% of the tax, whichever is higher. But in case of section number 73, minimum penalty is 25%, 15% of the tax, and the maximum penalty will be 100% of the tax. And then after we have covered the various drafting techniques, that how we need to draft a particular reply and what are the documents we need to ready at the time of our business audit. So this is all from my side.
थैंक यू सचिन भाई, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ कि ओनली 5 क्वेश्चन है और वो भी एक ही व्यक्ति के हैं, तो मैं उनको पढ़ूं या आप पढ़ के रिप्लाई देंगे
मैं
बॉस?
मैं पढ़ के रिप्लाई दे देता हूँ, बिल्कुल.
जी सर, जी सर, जी सर.
Yes, practical cases related to provisional assessment. So I may provide that case study to the Rajesh ji, and Rajesh ji will provide you the relevant case study as well. Not an issue. So this scrutiny of returns or scrutiny returns are completely depend on the departmental authority. Okay. So whenever they want, they may issue the notice related to the scrutiny of returns. What about procedural lapses? Linked audit reply. So whenever there will be a business audit and if there will be any procedural reply, then we should be very much careful for that when we'll provide our reply. In that case, our reply should be should take part of that particular procedural lapses. हो सकता है डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी ने आपको टाइमलाइन प्रॉपर नहीं दिया, हो सकता है जो नोटिस इशू किया उसमें जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन उन्होंने डिमांड की है वो उनकी पावर से बाहर थे. So that particular thing should be part of our reply. Okay. So if everything इफ एनीथिंग, कुछ भी ऐसा हो जो हमसे मांगा गया है, जो उनके पावर से बाहर है, दैट शुड बी पार्ट ऑफ अवर रिप्लाई, बिकॉज जो हमारा बेसिक रिप्लाई होगा दैट विल बी वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट. आई कैन टेक रेफरेंस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर रिप्लाई in the hearing in the particular appellant authority, appellant tribunal, high court, supreme court. So our basic reply should be in a perfect way. All the questions has already covered.
एक क्वेश्चन और आया है सर, आप देख लें.
If there will be any wrong input tax credit is available in your GSTR to be returned, in that case, will not consider that particular input tax credit. And if possible, we may provide that intimation to that concerned party that this input is reflected in our GSTR to be, so that please take care of that for next time. And also I suggest that ये सारी चीजें हम ना करें, हम हमारे क्लाइंट को इससे रिलेटेड गाइड करें. एक बार हमने हमारे क्लाइंट को GSTR 2B और 3B के रिकंसिलेशन से रिलेटेड गाइडेंस दे दिया, इन दैट केस वो हर महीने उसको कर पाएगा. हम कहां तक उस क्लाइंट के रिकंसिलेशन को मेंटेन कर पाएंगे. सो यस, इफ देयर विल बी एनी एक्सेस इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट इज अवेलेबल इन GSTR 2B, will not claim that input tax credit, because as per section number 16 subsection 2 will not be eligible to claim the same.
हो गया सर, हो गया, ऑल क्वेश्चन डन.
एक ई-वे बिल से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है. इन केस ई-वे बिल हैज नॉट बीन पेड नहीं मेड, can the tax be again demanded on the same? What should be source? Yes, if you have not prepared that e-way bill and generated the invoice, in that case departmental authority may issue the notice. In that case you need to take reference of certain case studies. You may take the reference of Satyam Papers Private Limited, उसका केस का रेफरेंस ले सकते हो. There are 3 to 4 केस स्टडीज, और आपको ये आर्ग्यूमेंट देना पड़ेगा कि ड्यू टू ओवरसाइट हमने यहाँ पर ई-वे बिल जनरेट नहीं किया, यहाँ पर टैक्स के इवेजन का कोई भी रीजन नहीं था, और उसके साथ में हमको सपोर्टिंग भी अटैच करनी पड़ेगी, और उस टाइम की रिलेवेंट सिचुएशन को भी एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा.
ठीक है सर.
यस सर.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सचिन भाई, आपने बहुत ही सरल शब्दों में, जो कि सब्जेक्ट बड़ा कठिन था, ऑडिट एंड असेसमेंट, उसकी बारीकियों को आपने वेरी वेल डिफाइन किया, डिस्कस किया, और उसके जो इफ एंड बट्स हैं वो भी आपने सारे डिस्कस किए. बड़ी प्रैक्टिकल वे में ये आज वेबिनार आपने डिस्कस किया. और मेरे को उम्मीद है कि हमारे जो मेंबर हैं दिल्ली के रहने वाले, क्योंकि आप जोधपुर से हो, उनको पसंद आया होगा. और 2-3 मेंबरों ने अभी मेरे को रिक्वेस्ट भी भेजी है अपने व्हाट्सएप पे कि भाई साहब का नंबर दे दीजिएगा. तो सचिन भाई, मैंने आपका नंबर उनको दे दिया है. certainly they will call you. They have maybe
ओके.
some query or some appreciation also from their side. So kindly take care of them. With this,
यस डेफिनेटली.
thank you very much, Sachin bhai.
थैंक
Thank
यू
you.
सर. थैंक यू.